I knew something was off when I got to the restaurant, and the waiter asked if I'd still be needing a table for 5. I smiled and said yes, knowing full well I shouldn't have. I was raised to believe that family showed up, especially for the big moments. But there I was in a corner booth near the window, fiddling with a napkin and checking my phone every 10 seconds like some rookie on a first date. I even laughed to myself, trying to play it cool. "They're just late," I muttered under my breath as I ordered a drink I didn't really want. "My name's Eric. I'm 33, and after nearly a decade of busting my back in the same mid-sized firm, I finally got the promotion I've been chasing for years. Senior Project Director. It wasn't just a title. It was validation. It was all the nights I worked past midnight while my friends were out. It was every weekend I said no to a beer so I could finish another report. It was stability. It was progress. It was mine. And I wanted to share it with the people who said they believed in me. My mom, my brother Jordan, my cousin Michelle, and Uncle Ray. That was the short list. The ones who said they were so proud of me last Christmas. The ones who cried when I bought Mom a car she could rely on and covered the mortgage when Dad passed. The same people who told me, "You're the glue holding us together." 2 hours passed. No calls, no texts. The only thing lighting up my phone was a notification from my banking app showing the restaurant tab climbing steadily. I told the waiter to bring out the entree. I was too embarrassed to leave, now too stubborn to admit they bailed. It was when I took the first bite of my steak, trying to pretend I wasn't sitting in an empty booth, that my phone buzzed again. Family night out for the real success story. Attached was a group photo. Smiling faces. Wine glasses, my mom, my brother, Michelle, Uncle Ray, all dressed up at some beachside grill. Jordan was standing front and center holding a key fob in one hand and flashing a cheesy grin with the other. Behind him, a shiny new jet ski on a trailer. The caption, "Hearing this. So proud of you, bro." I stared at that photo for what felt like 10 minutes. No mention of me. Not even a "sorry, we'll make it up to you." Just a big fat family gathering for Jordan and his impulsive toy. And then I saw the message from Mom sent exactly an hour before that post. "You're not exactly a priority right now. We'll catch up soon. Enjoy your dinner." I don't know what hit me harder, how casually it was written, or how rehearsed it sounded. As if she'd been waiting for the right moment to finally say it. I paid the $1,940 bill, left a 25% tip because the staff kept pretending not to notice how alone I was, and drove home in silence. When I got inside, I didn't turn the lights on. I just sat at the edge of my bed, phone in hand, going through memory after memory like a silent slideshow. Every grocery bill I covered. Every "I'll pay you back next week" that never happened. Every emergency call that ended with me wiring money just until things stabilize. Every time Mom told me Jordan was just figuring himself out. Every lie I told myself that I wasn't being used. I walked into my home office, logged into the shared mortgage account I'd been silently funding for 3 years, and stared at the payment schedule, $1,830 monthly, auto-deducted from my salary every 10th. I opened a new tab, clicked on the bank's contact, canceled it just like that. Then I grabbed a sticky note, scribbled 5 words, drove to the house I hadn't stepped foot in since Easter, and taped the note to the door. Let him pay it now. I didn't even wait to see if they were home. I drove off, phone on silent. I went to bed without brushing my teeth or changing clothes. The last thing I remember was the sound of my heartbeat echoing in my ears. By morning, my phone had 81 missed calls. Most were from Mom, a few from Jordan, 1 from Uncle Ray, and 3 texts from Michelle that said, "Call me now. Are you serious? And we need to talk." But I didn't answer any of them. I just scrolled slowly through the missed calls, staring at the timestamps like they were puzzle pieces trying to form an apology that hadn't yet arrived. That's when I saw the voicemail icon. I hesitated. Something about hearing their voices felt heavier than reading their texts, like it would make everything too real. But curiosity won. I pressed play, and what I heard next made me grip the edge of the nightstand until my knuckles turned white. It was my mother's voice, but not the one I grew up with. The soft sing-song tone she used when she tucked me in as a kid, or the proud voice she used when I made honor roll in high school. No, this one was cold, high-pitched, frantic. "Eric, what did you do?" "The mortgage bounced. I got a call from the bank this morning, and they said the payment didn't go through." "I don't understand. Why would you do that without telling us? You knew we were counting on you. Your brother. He's finally doing well, and you're being spiteful. Then, like some dramatic sitcom, she dropped her voice into a teary whisper. This is not how family behaves. I replayed that line. This is not how family behaves. Again and again, the irony sinking in deeper every time. The next voicemail was Jordan. Bro, this is messed up. Mom's freaking out. We were going to handle it. We just needed a little time. You didn't have to pull the plug like that. Seriously, are you trying to make us lose the house? A little time. 3 years of payments, but apparently I should have given them more time. The third voicemail was Michelle. She didn't even try to pretend. Okay. Wow. So, you're punishing the whole family now. Over what? A dinner. Grow up. You always act like you're the martyr. Like you're the only one who does anything for anyone. Newsflash. You're not the only one who works hard. Eric Jordan's been hustling, too. He finally got a break, and we wanted to celebrate. I'm sorry your little job promotion got overshadowed, but you didn't have to blow up everything over it. That one made me laugh. A tight, joyless laugh, but still my little job promotion. I sat on the edge of my bed, looking around at the silence in my apartment. No family portraits, no souvenirs from group trips, just a clean place I paid for alone. It wasn't loneliness I felt, though. It was clarity. I finally saw the pattern I'd been ignoring for years. My brother Jordan always got the attention that he's just figuring things out. Excuse was the family motto when it came to him. Even when he flunked out of 2 colleges, even when he totaled his first car, even when he started 3 businesses and let each one quietly fold without paying back a single loan, he was the dreamer, the one with potential. Meanwhile, I was the dependable one, the invisible safety net. They didn't clap for me when I got my degree early. They didn't throw a party when I paid off Mom's car, or when I negotiated with the bank to stop foreclosure after Dad passed. But they called me a good son in public. They loved that image of me always being the stable one, the provider, the reliable background character in their louder Messier story until I stopped. That afternoon, I finally answered one call. Uncle Ray. He was always the more level-headed one. Never got involved unless things went nuclear. I figured if anyone deserved a conversation, it was him. Eric, he said, voice low and tense. You gotta talk to your mother. Why? I asked calm but blunt. So she can guilt me into covering for them again. He sighed. She's a wreck. Says she didn't know how left out you felt. I chuckled. She didn't know. Did she also not know she texted me to say I wasn't a priority? Ray didn't respond to that. Just silence. I let it hang there. They've got 30 days, I said finally. That's how long until the bank posts a final notice. She's scared they'll lose the house, he muttered. I shrugged even though he couldn't see it. Maybe Jordan can sell the jet ski. Ray actually laughed. Just once. Sharp and unexpected. Then he cleared his throat. You're serious, aren't you? For the first time in a long time, he didn't fight me on it. I think in some twisted way he understood. Maybe he'd seen this imbalance, too, but didn't say anything. Maybe he'd been me once, just further down the road. Later that night, I got a long message from Mom. She called it a misunderstanding. She said she didn't mean for the dinner to turn into a competition. She tried to soften the language, even included an "I'm proud of you" buried somewhere in paragraph 5. But then she ended with, "Don't let this one mistake ruin everything we've built as a family." One mistake. It was then I realized we'd been building 2 very different things. I'd been building trust, responsibility, structure. They'd been building convenience, a system that worked as long as I didn't question it. The moment I pulled back, it cracked. The next morning, I checked the shared account. No payments had been made. No one had even tried. They were waiting for me to cave to be the bigger person. That was always the script. I closed the account entirely. By that afternoon, Michelle showed up at my apartment. Uninvited. She knocked hard, and when I opened the door, she marched right past me like she owned the place. "We need to talk," she said, arms crossed. I stayed by the door. "About what?" "About this little tantrum you're throwing. You're hurting Mom." I stared at her. Hurting her? She texted me mid-dinner to tell me I wasn't a priority while celebrating Jordan, the guy who hasn't paid for a meal in years. "He bought a jet ski," she shouted. "He's doing something for himself. That's not a crime." "No," I said slowly, but pretending like that's some grand achievement while dismissing everything I've done for the family. "That's the problem." She glared at me. I sharp. "You always act like you're the victim." "No, I'm done being the sucker. She scoffed. They're your family. They were, I said quietly. Now they're just people I used to pay for. That was when the shouting outside began. Jordan in the parking lot pacing next to Mom's car. I watched him through the window, rubbing his hands through his hair, yelling into his phone. I didn't need to hear the words. I could guess everyone. And I didn't move because for once, I wasn't going to be the one who cleaned it all up. Michelle didn't leave right away. She stood there staring at me like she was trying to find the old version of me. The one who would have apologized by now. Maybe even offered to transfer a partial payment just to ease the tension. I waited, arms crossed, saying nothing. She must have realized I wasn't bluffing because eventually she turned without a word and walked out. No slam of the door, no dramatic final remark, just silence. It was a strange kind of calm after she left. Not peace exactly, more like stillness after a long storm where you're not sure if the skies have cleared or if another wave is coming. I made coffee. I sat on my balcony. I watched the same neighbors walk their same dogs in their same routines. But my world had shifted. That afternoon, I got a text from my old friend Cam. He'd been my roommate back in college, knew my family dynamic better than most, though he'd only ever seen the tip of the iceberg. Dude, you okay? Your mom just called my mom. Said, you're having a breakdown. I stared at it for a moment, then sent a short reply. Nah, just finally woke up. He didn't push further. Just sent back a thumbs up emoji and a proud of you, man. That hit harder than I expected. Around 6 p.m., my phone buzzed again. This time, a FaceTime request from Mom. I didn't answer. A few minutes later, a long wall of text came through. She started soft, tried the warm, guilt-tinged maternal tone. Eric, sweetheart, please don't let this spiral any further. I know things didn't go the way you hoped, but we were genuinely happy for Jordan. We didn't mean to overshadow you. Can we talk? Please, I'll cook your favorite lasagna night. Just us. We need to fix this. Then, almost like flipping a switch, the second paragraph turned sharp. But canceling the mortgage was reckless. You put us all in jeopardy. You had no right to make a unilateral decision about the house, especially when you've been covering it voluntarily. This wasn't your burden to drop. Voluntarily. That word did something to me. As if I just happened to drop $65,000 over 3 years, like it was spare change I stumbled over on my way to work. No apology. No acknowledgement, just expectation. It reminded me of last Christmas, when Jordan had gifted Mom a designer bag but used my credit card without asking. It's just easier this way, he'd said, laughing like it was a harmless prank. And Mom, she'd said I was overreacting for demanding he return it. It's family, she had whispered, patting my shoulder. You always help. It's just who you are. But maybe it didn't have to be. Later that evening, I was scrolling through emails when a new one popped up. Subject line, notice of payment failure, final warning. I opened it. It was the official 15-day notice before the mortgage entered default status. I could almost hear the panic setting in across town. I didn't reply. Instead, I pulled up the old spreadsheet I'd kept, one I hadn't updated in months. Every wire transfer, every utility payment, every temporary loan that was never repaid. Each row was neatly labeled, color-coded by recipient. It took up 10 full pages, over $82,000 across the past 5 years. I stared at the total. Then I opened a blank document, titled it What I Owe Myself, and I began writing. It wasn't just a financial reckoning. It was personal, emotional. For every time I was talked over at the dinner table, for every we'll get you next time birthday, for every celebration I funded and was excluded from. I didn't realize how heavy the weight had become until I finally set it down. That night, I received a video message from Jordan. He was sitting on the couch, hair a mess, face flushed. Man, what are you doing? He said, voice trembling with fake calm. You're punishing everyone over some dinner. Grow up. Yeah, we messed up, but this you've got Mom crying every hour. Michelle's blowing up my phone, and now the bank's calling. He looked away for a second, then added, just turn the payments back on. We'll talk after. I didn't respond because they didn't want to talk. They wanted to reset the system, patch the hole without addressing the leak. 3 days passed. I went to work like normal. I started jogging again. I cooked actual meals. It was almost comical how much time I suddenly had. I didn't have to check if Jordan's car insurance had renewed or if Mom's electric bill was paid. I didn't have to set calendar reminders for Michelle's rent. And every morning I watched the group chat grow more chaotic. Michelle had renamed it to emergency. Eric, please respond. Then mortgage crisis. Then family unity chat. Broken heart emoji. I muted it. I only opened it once just to read a message from Uncle Ray. I warned them this would happen. You were never the weak one. You were just too generous. That message. I saved it because it was the first time someone in that family said it out loud. The turning point came on the 7th day. Mom showed up at my door, but not alone. She brought Jordan, and Jordan brought the jet ski on a trailer parked right in front of my apartment like a peace offering wrapped in idiocy. She knocked once, then again I didn't answer. She called out, Eric, sweetheart, please just let us explain. I watched from the peephole. Jordan was pacing, holding a paper in his hand. From what I could see, it looked like a bank notice. Mom stepped back, looked directly at the door. I know you're in there, she said softly. You're proving your point. Okay, we get it. You're upset, but don't throw away your family over one mistake. Another one. One mistake. That was when I realized she wasn't really here for me. She was here to fix the mortgage, not the relationship, not the betrayal, not the years of emotional negligence, just the payment. I didn't open the door that night. I just stood there watching them through the peephole until Mom gave up and Jordan finally peeled away in that shiny black truck, towing his dumb $9,000 apology. I remember wondering if he'd even made the last insurance payment on it. The next day was payday. For the first time in years, my account didn't show a giant deduction to cover a house I didn't live in. My paycheck felt heavier, like it meant something now, like it was mine. I stared at the total for a long time trying to remember the last time I had looked at my own bank balance and smiled. But the peace didn't last long. By noon, I got a call from the bank's collections department. The house, my mother's house, was officially 2 payments behind. And because of the type of mortgage, the default process had already started. I wasn't liable, of course. I'd removed my name years ago after covering enough temporary payments to realize I was being roped into more than I ever agreed to. But that didn't stop the bank from trying. I'm not the responsible party. I told the woman calmly. You'll want to contact the homeowner directly. There was a pause. Then the woman said something that stuck with me. She said you'd handle it. Said, you've always handled it. That's when I realized Mom hadn't told them I stopped paying. She hadn't called the bank herself. She just waited, expected, assumed that the safety net she'd wrapped herself and wouldn't dare walk away until it did. That evening, I got the knock again. This time, Mom was alone. No Jordan, no trailer, just her in a tote bag. Eric, she said when I opened the door. Please, we need to talk. I didn't say anything. I just stepped aside and let her in. She walked like she was entering a stranger's house, looking around, eyes wide like she was expecting to find photos of herself still on my walls. There weren't any. I motioned for her to sit. She didn't. She stood by the window and looked out, then turned to face me. We're going to lose the house. I nodded. I figured. You can stop this, she said, voice cracking. You can call the bank, and no, I interrupted. Come. Final. She blinked. What? I said no. I'm not calling the bank. I'm not making any payments. I'm done. Her jaw tightened. This isn't just about money, Eric. It's about family. I almost laughed. Mom, the night of my promotion dinner, you texted me to say I wasn't a priority. Then you threw a party for Jordan because he bought a jet ski. You call that family. I call it a joke. She flinched. It wasn't meant to hurt you, but it did. And you didn't care until the bill stopped getting paid. Silence stretched between us. She lowered herself slowly into the chair like she was settling into the weight of it all. I didn't realize how much you were covering, she said softly. That's the problem, I replied. You never wanted to realize it. She shook her head, voice barely above a whisper. Jordan's not like you. He needs more help. No. Mom, I said firmly. He needs consequences. She looked up at me, eyes glassy. He's your brother and I'm your son. She stared at me. And for once, there was no defense, no script, no guilt trip, just the empty echo of truth sitting heavy between us. I didn't want to believe it. She said that you'd just leave us like this. I didn't leave. I corrected. I stopped being used. She swallowed hard. What are we supposed to do? You figure it out. Like I had to, like adults do. She blinked, then looked away. And for a moment, I saw her not as the mom who raised me, but as a person flawed, scared, and entirely unequipped to deal with the reality she built. When she stood to leave, she didn't hug me. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just gathered her bag and paused at the door. "Is this really the end?" she asked. I thought about birthdays I spent alone, about covering holidays, tuition, medical bills, about every time I was asked to make room for someone else while no one made space for me. "It's the end of me pretending this was love," I said quietly. She nodded, didn't argue, just opened the door and stepped out. And that should have been the end. But it wasn't, because 10 days later, Jordan showed up. Not at my door, at my work. I was mid-meeting when my phone buzzed with a text from the receptionist. "There's a man in the lobby asking for you. Says it's urgent, Jordan." My stomach dropped. I excused myself and headed down. There he was, sitting in a chair, tapping his foot, wearing sunglasses indoors like some kind of failed celebrity. When he saw me, he stood. "Hey, we need to talk." "I didn't move here." "Yeah, well, you've been dodging everyone. Figured I'd come to you." I let him outside. We stood under a tree near the parking lot. He wasted no time. "We lost the house," he said. I stayed quiet. "They gave Mom 30 days to vacate. Michelle's trying to help but can't do much." Upraise ticked. "Says we should have seen it coming." I nodded once. "Why'd you do it, man?" he asked. "You got your little promotion. You were fine." "You mean financially?" I asked. He shrugged. "Yeah, you're the one with the stable job, and that meant I had to carry everyone else." He looked at me like I was speaking a different language. "I bought that jet ski because for once I wanted to do something for me," he muttered. "And I stopped paying the mortgage because for once so did I." He stared at me and something shifted. His mouth twitched, a realization creeping in behind the ego. "Mom's going to stay with Michelle," he said eventually. "I'll probably crash at Uncle Ray." "Good." He looked down at the gravel. "I guess I always figured you'd just keep handling it." "I know," I said. He looked back up, as narrowing. "So that's it. You're just out." "Not out," I said. "Free." He shook his head. "You think you're better than us?" "No," I said, "just better without you." He didn't like that, but he didn't argue. Just turned, walked to his car, and drove off. That night, I opened my phone, scrolled through the group chat one last time, read every message I'd ignored. Then I deleted it. 1 week later, I moved to a new apartment, bought a desk I'd been eyeing for months, booked a solo vacation. I even got myself a new number. The money I used to spend on them, I put it into a high-yield savings account. The time I used to spend worrying, I spent reading, hiking, sleeping in, and the guilt gone. Because sometimes the cruelest thing you can do to someone who's used to leaning on you is stand up and walk away for